Welcome back to We Talk Boxing. And this video is just going to be a quick, video in regards to my thoughts and initial reactions, to this incredible fight between Joe Joyce and Joseph Parker. First off, hats off to both men. It was a brilliant and exciting fight, to watch. And I couldn't really take my eyes off it, from the first round, to the literally the last second of the stoppage, But it was a brilliant fight. Two durable, incredibly powerful punching boxers, And yeah, it was brilliant. But for me, from the get go, do you know what I mean? From round one, do you know what I mean? I had, in my, just my initial thoughts, Joe Joyce, like just far superior to, to Joseph Parker. Do you know what I mean? He started quite strong. Do you know what I mean? And his relentlessness, his pressure, his aggression, his combination, It was just just far superior in this fight to me. But yeah, it was a brilliant fight. Brilliant fight. Now, for me, watching and scoring, writing down who I was kind of pretty much thinking who's winning around what rounds, etc., etc. Do you know what I mean? I had, Joe Joyce winning clearly. Do you know what I mean? Up until, do you know what I mean, the stoppage in the 11th round. At that point, in my, just what I seen, I had, Joyce up 7-2. Some people could have potentially argued, and said it maybe could have been 6-2, do you know what I mean, give or take. I think it was the 9th round, which was a little bit contra, do you know what I mean? Some people could have gave it to Parker, etc. But for me, I gave it to Joyce. But yeah, it was a brilliant fight. Yeah, like I said, I had Joyce winning up until the stoppage. And, what a performance. What a performance. And as I said in my pre-fight video, do you know what I mean? That, for me, I had, I just thought, I just knew that Joyce was going to come on strong in the latter rounds. And for me, um, I kind of had him kind of pretty much going to be winning the fight on points or potentially getting, a late stoppage. And it happened. It happens, and that's what we do, us boxing guys, we sit here, we try and compare styles, do you know what I mean, and try and envisage, I can't get the word out, but try and see, what's going to happen in the fight. And I'll tell you one thing, it's quite interesting, because obviously reading some of the comments from, the videos that I posted about this fight and stuff, that some people were saying, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, obviously Parker's going to, make Joyce look like a London cab driver and stuff like that. And I've just got to laugh really. I just laughed about those comments, and do you know what I mean? And some people just, saying, oh, you don't really know what you're talking about, etc., etc. But at the end of the day, we've all got our own opinions. Do you know what I mean? We all see and think fights are gonna go in a certain way, etc. And we're all entitled to our own opinions, but I've watched both of these guys, fight on many occasions, and I know what their styles kind of consist of and what sort of energies they bring and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, we all just predict. And on this occasion, for me, I was right. Do you know what I mean? And as I said, Joyce was winning on points up until the stoppage. Do you know what I mean? And I did predict if there was going to be a stoppage in this fight, it would come from Joyce. And again, I was right. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, I didn't reply to a lot of those comments because I just thought, at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Win, lose, or draw for Joyce, you know what I mean? It's just one of them, really. You know what I mean? We're all entitled to our own opinions, really. And, you know what I mean? The reason why I make these videos is because I'm a big boxing fan. I love boxing. I love watching it. Do you know what I mean? And I was just kind of wanted to kind of share my opinions, you know what I mean, with a load of you guys that are obviously subscribing and listening to my videos, you know what I mean? And obviously I'm quite thankful for that as well. Do you know what I mean? And I want more comments. I want you guys to comment. Do you know what I mean? To give me your thoughts and stuff and how you think certain fights are going to be, because at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Like this is what the game is about. Do you know what I mean? It's about boxing fans coming together, sharing their opinions, and you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Just coming together, really. You know what I mean? Now, you know what I mean? Before I get carried away, you know what I mean? I'm just gonna go back to the fight. Do you know what I mean? And it was a brilliant fight by both guys. Do you know what I mean? And to be honest, this was the best Parker I've seen in a while. Do you know what I mean? He was fit, he was strong, he was motivated and energized. Do you know what I mean? And you know what I mean. He was faster and stronger. You know what I mean? From the first opening rounds. Do you know what I mean? And you can see his team and himself. You know what I mean? Them working on their power punches, and that's pretty much all he had really. Do you know what I mean? For me, you know what I mean? Yes, he was sharp and stuff like that, but he was mainly fighting on the back foot for a large proportion of that fight. Do you know what I mean? He still looked dangerous up until the knockout. You know what I mean? And every time he let his hands go, you know what I mean? You could see he had the power. Do you know what I mean? He just didn't have the stamina. You know what I mean? Or the will to keep Joyce off him. Do you know what I mean? And his straight rights were a good shot for him as well. You know what I mean? And at times he was throwing like the uppercut, which was a very good shot as well. You know what I mean? And if you would, I believe, if you would have properly caught Joyce with that, Joyce may have been in a bit more trouble. You know what I mean? But he was very durable. Both guys are very durable. Do you know what I mean? And it was brilliant to see. Do you know what I mean? But for me, Joyce, you know what I mean? His pressure, his relentlessness, his energy, his durability, do you know what I mean? To kind of wear a man down and keep going forward, and the courage and heart, do you know what I mean? To absorb a lot of the punches that he took and to just keep going, you know what I mean? Was brilliant. Do you know what I mean? He was also very disciplined and smart in his game plan and very professional. Do you know what I mean? He knew he was winning quite comfortably and didn't really get, you know what I mean, mixed up with too much between himself and Parker. He just kind of kept at bay at times, and you know what I mean, just overworking his man. Do you know what I mean? But for me, I think this performance is going to take Joe Joyce to the top. Do you know what I mean? And I feel that, you know what I mean, he's gonna challenge a lot of these top guys, and potentially he's gonna cause some big upsets. Do you know what I mean? Because his constant pressure, work rate, and excellent jab. You know what I mean? Is potentially, you know what I mean? I think at some point he's gonna win him a world title. Do you know what I mean? And I feel that, you know what I mean, he's going to trouble, you know what I mean, people like Usyk, you know what I mean? And he may even cause some problems to Tyson Fury if they fought. And he would definitely frustrate Wilder. And you know what I mean, at the minute, you know what I mean, I think, you know what I mean, he could be too much for Joshua. Do you know what I mean? I don't feel, you know what I mean? Trust me, that work rate, that pressure, plus his power, you know what I mean? I think he could be a bit too much for Joshua. But you guys can let me know about that in the comments. Do you know what I mean? But this was, you know what I mean, a very top-notch performance by Joyce. Do you know what I mean? And he is now the mandatory, you know what I mean, for Usyk. You know what I mean, for that title shot. But if that fight obviously can't get made, do you know what I mean? Then in the interim, I'd like to see him, you know what I mean, try and, you know what I mean, if the, you know what I mean, if AJ's not fighting Tyson, and you know what I mean, why not try and entice Tyson Fury into a fight? But I can't really see that happening, because obviously if Tyson's not going to fight AJ, then he's definitely going to try and go for someone lesser. Do you know what I mean? And just to kind of wait for Usyk. But some other good fights, you know what I mean, that I'd love to see Joyce in with, you know what I mean, in the interim, if he can't get the Usyk or the Fury fight. And I'd like to see him in with like someone like Dillian White. Do you know what I mean? It would be a brilliant fight, you know what I mean? Because he's got a win over Parker himself. Do you know what I mean? Or maybe a Hrgovic, because I think Hrgovic is mandatory for, I think is it IBF or something like that. Do you know what I mean? And if you can't get any of those two, maybe even an AJ fight, you know what I mean, would be brilliant. Because if you think about it, all three of these fights will improve his status, you know what I mean, as a top as one of the top boxers, but also will earn him a lot of money. Do you know what I mean? Because I think a future rematch as well with Dubois will be a brilliant fight down the road. But obviously, Dubois, for me, has to win a title, you know what I mean, to make that fight worthwhile. Because as it stands at the minute, you know what I mean, Joyce has already got a win over him. Do you know what I mean? And he just looks, for me, I think he beats him again as it stands. But anyway, you guys let me know in the comments below. Do you know what I mean? What were your thoughts about this fight? And how did you see it going up until the stoppage? You know what I mean? Did you have Parker up? You know what I mean? Or did you have, you know what I mean, Joyce winning? But anyway, as always, please like, subscribe, and comment for more boxing related content. Bless.